Hello, and here we are, part 17. Thank you for coming back and continuing to follow these videos. Yeah, so I'm just hoping that it's all, proven interesting and, enlightening and just, encouraging as I always mean to. Just some different perspectives, just some, kind of wider views and to really get us thinking about, things that aren't often covered or ways of thinking and, viewing things that aren't often looked at, just to encourage, ways of, seeing the whole thing in a different light. That's all I aim for, really. Yeah, and one thing that it has crossed my mind, I don't want to come across as too much of a myth buster because as I say, I'm very, very much a believer in the paranormal. I do believe that something frightening happened with the Lutz family, although I'd never claim to know what it is. I don't feel that anyone but themselves ever really knew what it actually was. But I mean, I aim to kind of say, well, look, because it wasn't like the famous deliveries of the story, we're looking at something that is probably, far more tame, that would have been very frightening to them, but maybe didn't translate as terrifying to other people when told. And I think that we can all empathize with that a little bit in the way that, something can, really scare the bejesus out of us. And, but when we tell someone else, they're looking at you and thinking, yeah, that doesn't sound that bad to me. But obviously they can't really feel the fear that you felt at the time. And so that's, likely why that so much got added to the story and embellished, etc., in the name of entertainment. So again, these are things that I like us to think about. But talking of, excuse me, not wanting to be a mythbuster too much, I just wanted to go back to something around the DeFeo murders that is very, very famous. And it's the point that nobody was said to have heard the gunshots on the night of the murders. No one in the neighborhood or anyone close by was said to have heard any gunshots. And so it remained a mystery as to, where they got this huge rifle being fired, more than six times, yeah, in the dead of night. Why did no one hear that? And it's become, kind of like an urban legend or a urban myth, even like a folklore kind of thing, over the years. That that's where it was, and it's kind of like it's a very spooky mystery. But the thing is, I've heard so many different things when looking into it, deeper, along the lines of, well, Butch was said to be playing the television very, very loudly, watching a war film. And some would say, well, maybe people were hearing gunshots from the television and just presume that that's all it was, that was all they were hearing. Maybe, I mean, I don't know how realistic or plausible that is, really, but I mean, we can't really rule anything out. And another theory I heard is that because the house is right next to the water, that the water could have carried the sound and, kind of, made it seem as though it was coming from much further away. It's something that I can't verify or, comment on too much because I've never been in a situation like that myself, with guns fired by, water. So I just can't comment too much. I mean, other theories are along the lines of the house was so well insulated that it was, kind of muffling the sounds, and this is why, no one was hearing anything. Yeah, yeah. But then there's other things that come out. There's just so many other things that, do creep out the woodwork. Like some have said, well, some neighbors did hear the gunshots. Yeah, of course they did. But they were too scared to say anything afterwards. I mean, again, we just don't know how plausible these things are. I mean, if you did hear gunshots in the middle of the night, you think, what the hell was that? I mean, I don't know how you'd feel. I don't know how I'd feel. And would it be a case of, well, yeah, I'm going to say something, or do I just keep my mouth shut and keep right out of it? Because I don't really want to be involved. I mean, who can really say, but I mean, it does seem, very much a case of, that there's something more logical to this, that there is, some more plausible reasons as to why that this wasn't, kind of heard, or wasn't, admitted, shall we say, by some people, so I don't like debunking things. I don't like saying, oh, all that mystery and mystique, oh, it's all a load of nonsense. I don't like to do that, really, but I do feel that when it comes to this element of the story, we can look towards something that was far more grounded and logical. I just feel that we can. And I mean, the other aspect of the night of the murders was that people tend to believe that no one woke up, no one in the house, the family, no one woke up. But it was proved by the autopsy reports that no one was drugged in any way. There was nothing found in their system to suggest any sedation. And really speaking, we could never prove that no one woke up. I mean, we could be saying that that maybe someone did wake up, but they were in such shock at these huge loud noises that they just froze and didn't move. And sometimes, we could even think, well, they were all found in bed, all in similar positions. How do we know that they weren't forced at gunpoint to get into that position before being shot? That there's just so many ways to look at it, and so many ways to, kind of, I'd say, look beyond what seems ridiculous, to look beyond, what some people can't get their heads around, and say, oh, and how on earth did that happen? So it's just kind of, let's think about things a bit more realistically, but this is what I'm saying, that we can still remove the myths, we can still remove the ridiculous additions and embellishments, we can still, kind of look at something in a much more grounded fashion, and still be left with something that's horrific and terrifying. We just can, because I feel that there is just so much still at the heart of both the murders and the Lutz story that is very, very plausible. That doesn't have to be, written off as, oh, well, that's all ridiculous, it was just this, it was just that. That there's still a lot left there that's wide open, that could still be horrifically scary. And I mean, whatever way we look at it, 6 murders in one house in one night, all within one family, that's a real life horror story on its own. It just is. I mean, we can't take anything away from that, regardless of the cause or the culprit, or the motives behind it, etc., etc. I mean, that is a horror story. It just is. And nothing can take it away from that. And that's where, we're going to say, well, it's always going to be the site of a famous horror story. It just is. That is beyond a fact. Sorry, that is beyond doubt a fact. Yeah, that cannot be taken away, or sort of debunked. It can't be. So we're always going to be looking at things that are pretty horrific, and would be, to most people, disturbing, frightening, and yet fascinating, all in one. That's, it's just not going to change, no matter how much we dig into something. And this is, I mean, again, like I've said before, I don't like to talk about the DeFeo family too much. I just don't, because I feel it's disrespectful, and I feel that they should be left in peace. But this is why I will always say, well, let's just not keep looking at how the murders happened, this, that, and the other. Let's just have our own theories as to kind of how it happened. But let's also try and look at things a bit more realistically. Let's just kind of say, well, yeah, that this most certainly happened. Because of, like I said before, no matter who's digging around it and trying to find, oh, maybe it was this, maybe it was that, oh, I think it may have been the sister, etc., etc. I mean, it's not going to change the fact that a real life horror story happened on that night in 1974. Nothing is going to change that, is it? Yeah. So again, like I say, without too much myth busting, let's still look at what we're left with. There is still, pretty frightening and horrific, and always will be. Yeah. Back again soon. Thank you. Many blessings.